Okay, kia ora everyone. I can see people joining on Instagram, and we are now live on Facebook.
Oh.
So, kia ora everybody. We're doing a double live right now. So we're live on Instagram and live on Facebook. Kia ora e te whānau. Welcome to our latest Q&A. Tonight we are doing a Wellbeing series where we host inspiring young people to talk about things that matter. I'm coming to you live from Kirikiriroa, Hamilton, and I wanted to acknowledge Waikato Tainui, who are the tangata whenua people of this land. My name is Gemma. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Seed Waikato. I use she, her pronouns, and we're going to be live tonight for about 20 minutes. And I'm here with the wonderful Logan. Logan uses he, him pronouns and is the youth mentor coordinator from Waikato Queer Youth. He's passionate about creating safe spaces for young people to be their authentic selves and loves the power of encouragement to lift people up. So kia ora, Logan, and welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you for real?
Yeah, pulling my hair out with boredom, but to be expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too much going on this weekend?
No, real quiet weekend. Just actually been sort of super giddy and excited for this. It'd be cool to get an opportunity to just chat and answer people's questions and talk to them about identity and confidence and excited to see what pops up tonight. So
yeah, let's jump into it. I'm so grateful to have you here. So thank you so much for prioritizing this time. We've got two, if you're just tuning in, we've got two cameras set up. We're live on Instagram on our phones and we're live on our laptops as well. So just wanted to let you know, like, if you're joining in and you would like to ask a question of Logan or myself, feel free to pop that in the comments. The comments are being moderated tonight. So yeah, please feel free to share. And we're going to jump right in. So let's go, Logan.
Awesome.
So tell us, working at Waikato Queer Youth, we're really keen to understand, how have you applied some of the work you do there to your own life?
That's a brilliant question. It's made me appreciate the value of community and togetherness, I suppose. It's made me appreciate small things like just chatting with someone you think might be going through a rough patch, or like even just in the office, talking to people. It's made me value self-pride. It's made me value showing decency, I suppose, to other people, which is unfortunately quite rare sometimes. I think those are the sort of main things I've taken away from my work at WaQuY.
And I know you do some work as well, if you're willing to share a little bit more. I know you do some work in the prisons.
Yep. So my day-to-day job is doing life skills courses with trainees in prison, and we run courses that range from budgeting to mathematics to anger management, sort of general life skills courses that we hope will boost people's emotional intelligence and give them something to sort of be proud of themselves a bit. I know it's a very people don't often see the good side of prisons. I mean, for obvious reasons, they're prisons, but you do meet some people in there who you can sort of see why they've been on the path they've been on, because there's not a lot of self-love sometimes. And I mean, the grace of God guy in terms of self-love, you know, it can be hard a lot of the time. So my goal in that sort of field is empowerment and lifting people up.
That's massive. That's massive, Logan. I'm keen to hear, what does self-care and self-love look like for you?
Self-care and self-love for me, quite often it looks like blobbing out with a good book or a TV show. Sometimes it just means getting rid of everything that's going on in my head and just sort of forgetting the world for a little while. I've always been a massive fan of fantasy books and TV shows and stuff because it drags you out of reality for just even 30 minutes, which can be nice to just have a breather. Or seeing friends but not talking about work. It's so easy to see people that you know and have a hangout and all that, but get caught up in going, oh, so how's work? And then the conversation spirals into you thinking about work again. So just avoiding that topic when you're with friends sometimes can be really helpful. Unfortunately, during quarantine, it's been difficult to get away from. Yeah, it's been difficult to talk to friends and stuff apart from online and
it's not quite the same. It's not the same.
No, it's not. Never the same.
Yeah.
I'm a hugger, so it's,
me too. Yeah.
difficult. I find it incredibly important to take time out for yourself. Especially
that's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on, we've touched on quarantine, the WaQuY, COVID, lockdown, whatever we're going to call it. Let's use WaQuY. I wonder how your priorities for looking after your well-being have changed over the last kind of 2 months. I know for me that I've had to really triple down on my self-care rituals, and my self-care rituals are dancing, journaling, breathing. I do a lot of breath work. But if I skip them for more than probably 2 days, I really start noticing I'm more irritable. I feel too tense in my head, there's just congestion. So I'm really keen to hear from you, how have your priorities and looking after your well-being changed?
I feel more of a social responsibility in my well-being now. Given the situation, it's unavoidable. It's everywhere. You can't avoid. One thing I've noticed is that my stress levels have changed from work stress to COVID stress, as you could call it. And my self-care, because I'm sort of a natural extrovert, my self-care has been always going out and seeing people and connecting with people. So I've had to make massive changes with that. My sort of form of self-care now is just taking time to get away from watching the news and watching that kind of stuff, because that's a stressful situation in itself. But now my priorities have shifted more to into escapism a little bit, in terms of the kind of media I consume. So stuff like I said before, my self-care routines haven't shifted that much. It's been more what's caused me needing self-care routines that have shifted. But it's I've tried to do self-care by avoiding the news, which is unusual for me because it would usually be the other way around. The news takes my mind off work, and now I'm using work to take my mind off the news.
It's boundaries though too. I feel with the news, it's everywhere, and it's so terrifying as well, the way that they communicate things sometimes. It's oh my goodness, I wasn't feeling panic before, but now I am. I think it's a really good boundary to have around news and media consumption at the moment.
Well, the one form of media I have loved in a news sort of format is the actor John Krasinski's doing a show on YouTube now called Some Good News, where he only does good news. And
Cool.
that's really nice to watch. Just to sort of, you can feel your heart rate going down, and your stress levels decreasing as you're watching. That's wicked to see.
That's so good to hear. That kind of leads into my next question. Outside of WaQuY, Waikato Queer Youth, what other spaces do you look for tools to help you with your well-being?
Oh, that's a really good question. The other spaces I tend to surround myself with friends and family. There's no one better to sort of, give you a bit of a verbal slap around the ears and tell you to go look after yourself. I'm fortunate enough that I've got some incredible friends who do know the value of self-care, and I mean, I look in all sorts of places. WaQuY would probably be my main place, though, actually. And like, I mean, the classroom for me as well. Even at work, there are a lot of things that even being at work can teach me about self-care, given the industry I'm in. Self-care is super important for our trainees, which is, and I sort of take little tips from them, which, I mean, I look for self-care in everything, really. It's kind of hard to explain, I guess. That's a brilliant question, though. It takes a bit of thought.
A reflective one.
Yeah.
I'm wondering then, it might be cool to touch a little bit on, what is Waikato Queer Youth, and what are some of the mahi that you do there, and how is that supporting and strengthening young people?
So Waikato Queer Youth is a safe space to come. We're an organisation that prides ourselves on being a place for young people who may be, queer or gender non-conforming, or that fit under the LGBTQ plus umbrella. Can come and hang out and forget about things for a little while on a Monday afternoon, and just be themselves. And we also run professional development sessions, do school talks. We're doing a new thing called Where's WaQuY, where we go around to smaller towns and run a group for people who may not be able to get into Hamilton. That's run by our incredible manager, Nate. He's wonderful.
Shout out, Nate.
Shout out, Nate. And we pride ourselves on being accepting and open, and you don't just have to fit under the queer umbrella to come to us, provided you're queer friendly and you follow our rules. And we don't have many. We're not there to lecture you. You're more than welcome to come. It's for young people, and we're at Zeal in Hamilton, the Zeal building.
Wicked,
on Ward Lane, behind Starbucks. So it's an opportunity to grab a coffee if anyone wants one. And it's just a wicked space. You walk in and you feel sort of a sense of quite light feeling, because there's no need to hide anything. There's no need to be worried about who might be there, which can be a big worry for some of our youth. But
I bet to not be able to be seen or heard or understood, that would be a real challenge. So having that safe space to come in and be yourself and be seen and be understood, I mean, that's huge.
Exactly. And we've got a Facebook page if anyone wants to know more, or they can message me.
I'll drop it in the
Yeah,
comments afterwards so people can connect in with WaQuY socials.
awesome.
I'm wondering, we've got a couple of questions that have come through. Hey, so if you're tuning in on Instagram, feel free to drop some questions or comments. If you're on Facebook, choose some cameras. If you're on Facebook, then drop a comment and let us know what you'd like us to talk about. So we've got a question from Danielle Marks, and
Yep.
Danielle says, what's the first step to alleviating internalized homophobia as a queer person?
That's a brilliant question. It's sort of a case by case basis. I would personally say. I mean, for me, it was, coming from sort of rural Waikato, very blokey, rugby, boys don't cry kind of attitudes, that a lot of queer people still hold on to. It's For me, it was about finding a sense of community and listening to people in our community, that helped me sort of, evade sort of internalized homophobia. Not evade, but sort of work through. Um, it can be incredibly difficult when you grow up and you've been told, to act a certain way. This is how you should be, and when you sort of realize who you are yourself, it's hard to get rid of that. It does come with it, even if you are confident in yourself and all that. It is still something that can nag in the sort of back of your mind a little bit. But I think the first step is, I would say, connection with your community, and listening to people, and listening to yourself as well. Do I really want to be doing this? Is this me? I can go out and do certain things without societal, expectations weighing on your mind, and it can be a terrifying thing too.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing. I'm wondering if we have any other comments coming through, any other questions that people would like to know. Nate's asked a question. What's some advice to your younger self around your identity?
Oh, I hope he's not testing me on this. This could be a work thing.
I love this question. This is so cool.
That's a brilliant question. What's some advice to my younger self? Don't be so afraid of thinking you're going to make a dick of yourself. I wouldn't wear certain clothes that I really wanted to wear. I wouldn't say certain things that I wanted to say because I thought the affectation might be seen as too gay. I would say be kinder to yourself as well. People talk about kindness in a way that reflects on other people, but never internally. And I think being kind to yourself is super important because it's, self-kindness is something that's super rare and it's not often practiced, and you're your own toughest critic, but you could be your own biggest supporter as well.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. I feel like that needs to be on a t-shirt or something.
Yeah, be kinder to yourself.
Massive. And how have you been able to cultivate like a spirit of self-kindness and self-compassion? What does that look like for you?
It's something I'm still working on. It's easy to, like, if you write a report for work or something and you're looking at it and you go, this could be better. Come on, Logan, what are you doing? For me, it's about sitting back and taking time to go, look, that might not have been the best thing you could have written. Let's try another way or something. Just something as simple as treating yourself how you would like to be treated. It's that, like a lot of people say, treat others how you want to be treated, but also treat yourself how you would like to be treated. I know I'm really hard on myself when it comes to certain things that like I have no control over, which is, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's ridiculous that you would have such a hard time on yourself for something that is completely beyond your control. But that's what happens.
Yeah, it's a reality sometimes.
Yeah. So for me, it's just about sitting down and even just talking kindly to myself. I know that sounds strange, but my internal monologue, just changing that from being such a harsh voice into a more supportive one.
That's so powerful, and something that I think is that we can cultivate every day, that it's not just like you wake up and you have that inner compassion and inner kindness for yourself, but it's just those small moments where you have that awareness to realize, hey, am I treating myself the way that I would want someone else to treat me? Or
Yeah.
So it's that cultivating awareness and then finding those moments to reset. Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to do. It is a hard thing to do.
For sure. I've got another question come through from Danielle. What's the best thing about your identity that you have felt?
Ooh, the best thing about my identity that I've felt, I would say, I reached a screw it stage of, I'm not gonna care what people think of me. It's more about what I think of me.
Wow.
And doing that, you can see reflected in other people. You can see sort of people looking at you and going, well, if he doesn't care what people think of him, why can't I do that? So I think the best thing I've felt about my identity is giving others the courage to feel the same way about their identity. It's sort of a loop, I guess, without sounding too, narcissistic or anything. It does become
inspiring. Yeah, it's honoring your authentic self, and then that enables others to do that too.
Exactly. It provides them with a view of what that might look like, I suppose.
Yeah, a reference point.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got a question from James. How has being outside of the norm of gender sexuality benefited you in your life?
Oh, that's something you don't hear a lot about, is the benefits of it. It's given me a greater sense of community. It's helped me find my people in a sense. Like, I've been with WaQuY now 11 years. I started as a member, 11 years ago. Started as a member and just sort of slowly, became part of the furniture. But that I've seen so many, it's given me the opportunity to see so many young people grow up and become confident young adults. And I mean, I'm saying that like I'm 53, but it's given me the opportunity to connect with my community and be a part of some really amazing things, really fun things, and it's given me another viewpoint, in a sense, from rural Waikato, New Zealand. It's given me two sort of sets of views, and I would say community and sort of learning how to self-love too. Actually, learning what self-love looks like and what self-care looks like has been a part of that as well.
Yeah, massive. Thank you for sharing. Okay, well, I think we will be wrapping things up. If you have a question, this would be the time to post it, because we are going to bring things to an end. I've got one more question, Logan, that I would love to ask, which is, what advice would you have for people wanting to build more pride in themselves and have more confidence to be who they are?
I would say, once again, be kind to yourself. It's not a race. It's still something I'm working at. I mean, if you're kind to yourself, your authentic self will come through. I think you'll see more of a shift in your thinking, and I think there is a big part of that that's a shift of other people's perception of you, and being kind to yourself also helps you learn how to treat other people as well. But yeah, that would be my message: is be kind to yourself, be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. I I public speak quite regularly, and I get up in front of classrooms and stuff and talk. And even then, I'm still checking myself to see if I'm still being me or what I think they want me to be. So it's not a race. Just slow down and breathe.
That's powerful. Thank you so much, Logan. I absolutely love how much of an open book you've been tonight, and we're so grateful for you saying yes to jumping online. So thank you so much for spending this time together. We're going to pop the socials for WaQuY in the comments, so you can get in touch if you would like to find out more about Waikato Queer Youth. And we'll pop your socials in there too, Logan, so people can connect with you if they'd like to. So thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. We'll leave it there. Ka kite, and stay tuned on our social media over the next week. We've got a new theme. This week we've obviously done identity and been able to kind of deep dive into that theme. And next week we have a new theme. So keep an eye out, and we love connecting with everyone online. So thank you so much for the engagement, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome.